Today's video is brought to you by CarLock, the world's best vehicle tracker and alert system. With CarLock, you'll be able to track your car real time, get alerts of anything suspicious happening to your car, such as your car is starting when it shouldn't be starting, any vibrations. Also, if someone decides to unplug your car lock from your car, you'll get a notification for that too. You deserve that peace of mind, and make sure you get your car lock. I do have a discount code for you guys shown on the screen right now. Get 10% off your purchase, as well as 14 days free trial with it as well with that same discount code, man. Get your car lock. You deserve that peace of mind. Let's go ahead and get into the video. Now, after driving both cars daily, owning both cars, things like that, this is my sole opinion. Which car do I like better? YouTube family, what is going on? Welcome back to this video. Welcome back to this channel. I want to thank everybody for tuning in on this video and clicking on this video. If you are new to the channel, please do me a huge favor. Make sure you lock it in and subscribe to the channel. We want you around for the long haul. We do a lot of car related things on this channel, and you're in the right place for car stuff, so go ahead, lock it in. And if you've already done that, I want to appreciate you guys for being part of the channel and being part of the family. So thank everyone for already subscribing if you already done so. We're not going to hold you too long. Let's get into the topic of today's video. So you see the title and you see the thumbnail. So if you've been following the channel for a long time, then you know that I've owned a Challenger before this, and I recently got this car back in like March or something like that. So I had this car with 9 months, 8 or 9 months, something like that. It's safe to say that I have a good understanding of both platforms, both the Charger and the Challenger. Since I got this car, a lot of people have been asking me, which car do I like better? Do I like the Challenger better? Do I like the Charger better? You know, what do I miss my Challenger, things like that. So I want to talk about a few things with both cars and which one do I actually like better as far as the platform wise. I'm gonna talk about some things that is, you know, specific to each car, and also some things that are, you know, just general in Challengers or Chargers overall, right? So we're going to get into all that, and then I'm gonna let you guys know which platform I prefer overall. So let's get into it. Now, first thing I want to dive into is pricing of the car. Now, from XXT all the way up to jailbreak on both sides of the fence here with both the Challenger and the Charger, you're looking at about $2,000 more for a Charger across the board. Some are going to be a little bit more than $2,000, some are going to be a little bit less than $2,000, but pretty much you're going to average about $2,000 more to get the Charger. Now, as we dive into the price a little bit with the cars here versus both cars, I feel like with the Challenger, you're going to have more options and stuff as far as trims and appearance packages that the Charger doesn't have. So with the Challenger, you're still able to get a hellcat in both narrow body and wide body as well as the red eye. Now, I know a lot of people like the wide body, but there's also a lot of people that do not like the wide body at all. So you still have the option with the Challenger to do so. Now in the Charger, once you step into a hellcat and anything up, you have to get a wide body. There's no option to do a narrow body. There's also other options that come specifically on the Challenger that you just cannot get on the Charger for various reasons. Now, the first thing here, a lot of people like to take the cars to the track, like to go drag racing, things of that nature. The Charger, while it does have the same performance as the Challenger to a certain extent, we're going to get into that, the Challenger actually offers a couple different trims that are specifically tailored to drag racing. You got the 1320 Challenger, and also you have the Super Stock. And of course, they came out with the Demon first. We can't forget about that car. Now, we know now the Charger does have a limited edition Super B that is pretty much a 1320 Charger. It's a limited edition run, so it's really kind of late to the game with all that type of stuff. And typically, historically, the Challenger gets all the good stuff first before the Charger gets it. The Challenger got the wide body first, 1320 first, the Challenger got the Super Stock first, and some of those trims just did not come over to the Charger. Now, the Charger does have some special offerings as far as trims are concerned. Most of those things are just appearance stuff, like you got Daytona package and things of that nature. But in that realm of appearance or add-ons, the Challenger, you can get a shaker, which changes the whole hood and things of that nature. So in that aspect, you get a little bit more with the Challenger versus the Charger. Now, while the Charger and Challenger both come with the same engines from top to bottom, there's one thing that I'm going to mention, because my Challenger had this that I can't get in the Charger. You cannot get a manual in this car. You have the same drivetrain, same transmissions, all that type of stuff, but this car you can't get a manual in it, which unfortunately I wish they would have done it. There's not really four-door cars like that that have manuals, especially in this class of cars. To me, that is a miss to Dodge, and not putting a manual in this car is really like the same car, just 4 doors versus 2 doors. So let's talk about performance. Which car actually performs better? I know I had an RT Challenger before this, and this is a 392, so I know the performance don't match up. But if we're going same for same transmission, same engine, all of that nature, which car actually performs better? So with both the Challenger and the Charger, both platforms have their pros and both platforms have their drawbacks. Start with the Challenger. The Challenger, with it being a 2-door car, is going to be lighter. The con of that is the fact that the Challenger is nowhere close to being aerodynamic as the Charger. On the Charger, that is the pro. This car is really aerodynamic. You can just look at it and see how curvy it is versus the Challenger. We all know what the Challenger looks like. But on the downside, the Charger is about 200 to 300 pounds heavier than the Challenger. If you're talking like for like, we're talking about narrow body, wide body, about 200 to 300 pounds heavier here. Which car should perform better more consistently? This is just my theory on this. The Charger will have an overall top speed that's going to be better than the Challenger because of aerodynamics. Now with the Challenger being a lighter car, it's going to help you out no matter what. No matter how fast you're going, the lighter car will always help you out in various things, as far as if you're doing autocross, any kind of track, drag racing, all that. No matter how fast you're going, the lighter car is going to help you out. Now you can say, well, this car is more aerodynamic, it's going to have a better top speed. That is true. The thing about it is you're going to have to be going so fast for the aerodynamics of this car to be an advantage over the other car. Now granted, both the Challenger and the Charger, like we're talking the Hellcat variants and stuff like that, they both can hit like 200 miles an hour, but the Charger can go a little bit faster because of aerodynamics. I don't know a lot of people that's going 200 miles an hour with these cars on a consistent basis or going that type of speed. The weight is going to help you out no matter how fast you're going. So in my opinion, I feel like the Challenger is going to perform better than the Charger across the board. Now I know I've been talking a lot about performance, but let's get into something practical as far as the space and things of that nature. So let's kind of compare the two cars in that area. So getting into the car here, if you ever drove both cars and you know pretty much all the buttons, all the gauges, everything is exactly the same. I first drove this car, I kind of felt like I knew exactly what I was doing because everything is the same on the Challenger and the Charger. But the layout is a little bit different. Because of that different layout, you're going to get some things that one car has and another car doesn't have. With this whole center thing, this whole center console area, it is laid out differently versus the Challenger. The Challenger is going to be more angled towards you, more angled towards the driver. This whole center stack is going to be turned a little bit towards you, a little bit, not too much, but just enough where it's kind of angled towards you. If I recall correct, it's been a while since I've been in my Challenger, but everything's focus on the driver. Now what the Challenger doesn't have is a few things. The Challenger, you don't have this little storage area down here. Of course, if you have a manual, you won't have this, but both the automatic and both cars have this, so that's kind of the same here. Now you're gonna have cup holders on both of the cars, but Charger only one has this cover. If you have a Challenger that is a 6-speed, these cup holders are pretty much useless because you cannot shift gears with these cups here and stuff like that, so you got to use the ones in the doors. But another thing, I feel like in this car, this storage is bigger and more roomier than it was in the Challenger. Now the glove compartment is exactly the same, but that's the main difference here as far as the center stack. Now as far as this goes, as far as the storage in the inside of the car, definitely the Charger has it hands down. So the trunk space is really interesting here. So I'm gonna show y'all the trunk real quick. Now keep in mind here, you're about to see probably my next mod I'm gonna do on the car at some point, so I'll just keep that in mind. So we're gonna pop the trunk here. So the trunk, the crazy thing about it, the 2-door Challenger and this 4-door Charger, the trunk space is pretty much the same size, which is wild, right? You can put a bunch of luggage back here and all of that. I've done it in my Challenger, had like 2 big things of luggage back here. Easy, no problem. You can do the same in here. I also carry some stuff in my Challenger too. So if you're worried about having trunk space in a 2-door car, the Challenger does have that for you. Compared to the Camaro and the Mustang, the Camaro's trunk is pretty much non-existent. The Mustang, pretty much the same. But the Challenger will give you space in the trunk, which is a good thing here. Now for the next thing, let me get back in the car because I want to talk about just driving each car here. Now back in the car, the Charger versus the Challenger, the obvious thing with each car is that with the Challenger, you have a lot of blind spots here. Versus the Charger, if you look over here, I can see straight out of here, I can see straight out the back pretty easily. Now in my Challenger, I could not see, this whole area over here was blocked, and the back window was really small. It's hard to see out the back window. So if you do get a Challenger, definitely the blind spot monitoring is much needed. Now, as far as the front of the car is concerned, I feel like I parked both of these cars in the garage in the same spot. I feel like with the Challenger, the hood on the Challenger feels a lot longer than the Charger. I had a lot of trouble trying to get my Challenger parked in the garage and get it lined up right and pull in far enough because I felt like the hood was so long. This Charger, I feel like the hood is shorter and made it a little bit easier to get into the garage. But another thing here, we are parking 2 cars in the garage. So if you are parking 2 cars in the garage, another thing you want to be aware of is the fact on a 2-door car, these doors are super long. Like I know a lot of us, we're not going to park beside other cars, but if you're parking cars in a garage, be mindful that doors are longer. So if you don't have the space to swing them open, then you'll have some troubles getting in and out of the cars. Now, another thing, let's talk about mods on these cars. Now, the mods on these cars, you can pretty much do the same mods on both the Charger and the Challenger. It's not really too much difference there. I will say, as far as the mods I've done to my car so far, I feel like it's a little bit harder on the Charger to do the mods versus the Challenger. Now, I did the rear strut brace on my Challenger as well. I felt like the Charger was a little harder to do because of the fact that the trunk has so much insulation and stuff in it. And the other thing I just did, if you watch my last video, I put my LED headlights on, and these bulbs, where they're located, they're really hard to get to. So just basic things, even if you change out a bulb, these bulbs are like over here in this corner, while the Challenger is kind of over here. So it's easy to get to the bulbs with the Challenger, hard to get to them in the Charger. Now the big thing, let's talk looks. Which car looks better? This is going to be completely subjective to a lot of people, but this is just my opinion, what car looks better. Now I'm going to start by saying this. I'm going to say this a few times. I always said if I had to get rid of my Challenger, I need a 4-door car, that I would get a Charger, right? Honestly, both cars look extremely good. I would not buy a car just to buy it. I'm buying because it looks good. I feel like the wide body on this car really sets it off. Love the curves and stuff on it. If you're not a real big on something looking real retro looking, then I think the Charger fits your bill there, because the Charger looks a little bit more modern but also muscular at the same time. The Challenger definitely flips the script completely. It was more retro looking, exact same body lines as the original 1970s Challenger and things of that nature, which a lot of people like. A lot of people like that retro look to the Challenger, and you can't really mistake that look for any other car. No other car has that same silhouette or anything like that. Now with the Charger being it more curvy, you can kind of maybe compare it to some other cars and things like that because of the curves, but honestly, I can't see it, maybe because of the fact that, you know, I know the car, and a lot of you guys know the car as well. You really can't think that this car looks like something else. Now there are some retro clues in this car that I may do it on another video to point them out, but it's not as obvious as it is with the Challenger. Now if you're one of those people that like to drive around in something that you don't see all the time, and I've driven both Chargers and Challengers, so I'm kind of like aware of those on the road a lot. I see way more Chargers on the road than I do Challengers. And of course the Charger is really practical, having the 4 doors and things like that. When I had my Challenger, I really saw other Challengers on the road. But with the Charger, I see them all the time. Like now, after driving both cars daily, owning both cars, things like that, this is my sole opinion, which car do I like better. I do give the slight edge to the Challenger. I do like the Challenger better. Yes, some of you guys are like, well, you own a Charger, so you just bought the Charger for no reason? No. I definitely said I would get a Charger if I had to get a 4-door car. I don't like a lot of 4-door cars, even though the Challenger was my first 2-door car. But that's beside the point and stuff like that. And here's why I like the Challenger slightly better than the Charger. I like the manual transmission, I'm gonna say that. I love the muscular look of the car. To me, like, it just screams muscle car. When you get into that car, you see the silhouette and things like that. It really stands out when you're out on the road and whatnot. Now, of course, I got a bright red wide body Charger. This thing is beautiful. This thing looks good. I love this car. Do not get it twisted. I'm gonna have to tell y'all, do not get it messed up. I love driving this car. But if I didn't have to go 4-door, I definitely easily would have got another Challenger. Easily got another Challenger for those reasons I mentioned. And also, I mean, I really don't care what other people buy or whatnot. I tend to get what I like. Now, also with Challengers, like I said, you're not gonna see a lot of Challengers on the road. Now, I know people with Challengers, but still, it's kind of few and far between when you see another Challenger or something on the road. But again, let me restate it. I really don't care what anybody else buy. I buy what I like. So that's how I feel about both cars. I still like the Challenger slightly better than the Charger. I said slightly. When I mean slightly, I mean just a smidget. I have to get real nitpicky to say that. But I want to hear you guys' thoughts. Challenger, Charger, what car do you like better and why? Drop it down in the comments below. I really want to hear what you guys think about that. As always, catch y'all on the next video. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and lock it in and all that. We're going to catch you on the next video. We're out. Cut it.